All right, welcome back to the Tool World podcast. I'm your host, David Ju, and I'm here with Master Ju.
How's it going there today, Mr. Ju?
It's going okay.
It's okay?
Yeah, we're just coming back from the America's Cup
That's
out
right.
in Houston.
The America's Cup.
Held by Master Howard
That's right.
and Master Crochet.
It was a good event.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a nice venue. So that brought up a couple of questions, especially in we've talked about, coaching as a sparring. What about a coaching for patterns? What are we looking for exactly?
Well, that's
and you've done it quite a bit. I mean,
Well-
you have a lot more coaching and experience.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. But,
technically,
technically,
a little bit. It's 40 years on me here.
well, technically, I think the coaches are not supposed to say anything.
Okay, well, let's break it down then. Coaching leading up to it,
Okay.
and then coaching at the tournament.
Well, which one do you
Right.
want to talk about?
Let's
At
start
the
with-
tournament?
no, let's
Because that
start-
one's easy.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, you can talk in between the patterns too, right?
Right, in between the patterns.
So let's talk about before coaching for just patterns, because we've done sparring before.
Okay. Well, is there really much to coach for patterns? You just got to do it right. I mean, what else are you supposed to do?
Yeah, I guess.
No. Okay, so I think there can be some tactical ideas in patterns, right?
Okay.
For instance, you got two competitors going on. Do you go first or do you go second? In other words, when you start the pattern. They say,
beginning.
The beginning.
Starting the pattern itself.
Right.
Okay.
And so, okay, I don't know if we should share this because then everybody else might go, oh, I see what they're doing.
well, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's a secret. I mean,
That's
people talk
true.
about it all the time.
That-
People do it all the time.
That's right. So if I'm competing, how can I disrupt my competitor? Right?
Okay.
So maybe if I go a little slower, maybe I go faster. Because sometimes you go, oh, wait a minute, did I just miss a movement? Because he's already way ahead or he's way down there. And it can, could mess up that competitor. So starting before or after could make a difference in messing up with that person. That would be a strategic movement, I would say. I guess you could say that.
Right.
What's your thought on that one?
I don't know if it's intentional of I'm trying to start after the other person, but it's more okay, I'm trying to ground myself.
And you're ready to go.
Mentally preparing
Oh, I
to
see.
do it, right?
I always think of it as let's try to mess that guy
No.
up.
I'm thinking okay, catch myself and then let's go.
All right, so when you do the pattern, you're just in the zone and you don't care about the other guy.
Well, no, because patterns is very individualistic, and it doesn't matter what the other person does. Is what matters more is how do I perform for myself.
Oh, absolutely. You
Right.
got to do that. But you do see sometimes where people are doing their pattern and then you see the competitor second guess themselves.
Or they're just a bad competitor.
They're a bad competitor.
Yeah, so.
Because they got that's true. I mean,
No.
when you do patterns competition, you got to just be locked in, right?
Yeah.
You can't really let the other person change what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's also interesting because some patterns, you can kind of collide. I mean, there are rules regarding that, right?
Yeah.
In other words, you're not supposed to interfere with the other person.
Well, yeah, it kind of
And-
depends on the tournament and the organization on what they decide to.
Right.
Sometimes they start it over,
Right.
or sometimes they might just give it a 0.
Right.
think-
When we judge for patterns, if you stop for more than 3 seconds, that's a 0 for you.
Right.
And so if you're kind of getting colliding, what would I recommend? You go. You just go.
Yeah.
You just,
Right.
because you don't want to stop and go, wait, because now you got the question is, did he forget or he was being cautious?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
Right.
that's a tough call. I would say go. Right?
Yeah. Okay, so kind of going off of that point too, I would probably say not just the timing of where you start, but where you start itself. So each pattern has a specific diagram, right? And does the person that is more in front of them without running into the judges score it higher? So for example, let's say you have second dan, that's easy. You have Ju Che and you have Jungjang,
Right.
right? And so the person that does Jungjang, they have to move backwards
Right.
because that pattern moves forward. But Kodang, you have to move forward. You just have to make sure that at the end that you do not run into the judges, right? And so when you watch someone actually do Juche Kodang, they're like right in your face. You cannot really see the other person.
Well, technically, you should start and end at the same place. So
Right.
if you did the pattern correctly,
Yeah,
you
but
would go back to that space and you're not encroaching on the umpires. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's actually a disqualification. Like Kodang's a really good example because
Yeah.
sometimes they pass the line of the judges.
Yeah.
And that would give you a 0.
Right, but I'm saying if I'm sitting in the 5-row judge and I'm the one on the end, on the right side,
Right.
and that competitor is doing Juche Kodang right in front of me, I cannot see that other guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I've had that. I'm like, I can't see past this person. So
That's a strategic
it's another
move.
strategic, right? So
Yeah.
like when you think about your own pattern, let's say I'm doing Eom, or maybe I'm thinking about other patterns, Sawmill,
Okay.
Choyang.
Yeah.
They don't move very far forward.
Right.
Right? And so as a competitor, should I step forward because now I'm bigger, I'm more in the judge's eyes?
It gets their attention. Is
Yeah,
What you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. And what's interesting too is like certain patterns are pretty big. They're,
Yeah.
I mean, and if you're on the center stage, you're not going to be able to actually do the whole pattern properly
Right.
without falling off.
Right.
Right? So in that case, you're going to have to find ways to adjust for that.
Yeah. Right.
But that could cause you to go, oh, that stance looks too short or something like that. And
Yeah.
they might knock you down a point or whatever because of that.
Right.
Hopefully not, but I mean, I guess technically you could.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I would not want to be on the center stage on certain patterns for sure.
Right. All right. All right. Let's go. Let's keep moving on here. Any other advice
Coaching
that you would
ideas?
go? Yeah. Advice for coaching.
Well, if we're training and I'm coaching them, I would want to try to put them in scenarios where they could get distracted. That's the main thing, I think. You know, obviously you got to do the pattern correctly. You got to make sure that you're doing the pattern correctly. But sometimes I think you do have to look at what's happening at the venue, the competition. What are they doing? And then I might go to my student, right, or my competitor, and say, hey, you notice how they do certain things? I think we need to just make an adjustment for that pattern, right? And so little details like that, maybe, oh, they're holding that kick a little longer or whatever it might be. So making those adjustments. So it's a good idea to be watching your competitors. If I'm not actually coaching someone because I'm too busy with another competitor, right? And competitors should be watching what's going on.
Yeah.
And looking at what are they doing why did that guy win? Why did that not guy win? And how can I make that adjustment so if I'm competing against that guy,
Yeah.
I don't fall into that trap,
Right.
right? So yeah, that's what I would definitely say as far as if I was coaching them. They have to be in the right set of mind too.
Yeah.
You know, just got to be locked in. Sometimes you see competitors and everyone's a little different,
Yeah.
I think. Some competitors are like just so locked in, you can't talk to them. Don't talk to me, just leave me alone. I just want to focus in on that. Some are like, I got it. Just go. How do you do it?
Probably
Locked in?
locked in more.
It's like, Dad, can you just go away? Don't talk to me.
Yeah, sure. Well, I don't know. If you're not focused, then you're gonna lose. It seems like
Yeah.
you know when you're gonna
Yeah.
win, and you know when you're not. It
I-
seems like I think.
Yeah, I'm just like thinking about that time we were at the World Games and just watching the competitors. And I think I mentioned a couple things. Hey, you need to just think about this, you know. Okay, so we talked about, well, what about during the competition, right? Can you say, technically you're not supposed to say anything, right? Yet you do hear people, like say, I've seen coaches go, high back fist strike or something, just as a reminder, right?
Okay.
As a reminder how to do the pattern. Maybe they know they keep forgetting certain things, so they kind of remind of that. If you could get away with that, I would say okay. like tempo, slow it down. Can you slow that down a little
Yeah.
bit? You're going too fast. And you don't have to say anything. I mean, you could do, if they can see you, you know, just like you give them hand signals. I don't know though if a competitor is even watching the coach. Like I sometimes think, even in sparring, you say, number 2, you know, do they hear that or whatever?
No, I've definitely come from tournaments and they were like, "Yeah, I was your coach." I was like, "Really? Didn't even realize that."
Exactly.
But, well, I guess it'd be different if you had, because that one we didn't have a 2-minute round. It was just one round.
Right.
So then I didn't
Right.
see. You don't see the coach, right?
Right.
It was a
right.
smaller tournament, and didn't even realize they were there.
But I think that there are sometimes it's kind of like I don't think competitors can hear really that much because they are kind of zoned in on whatever it is. It's kind of like a conductor, right? They move their hands and they're
Yeah.
playing their music, but they kind of see like, oh, the tempo or whatever. And I think that could be a way to help the competitor
Yeah.
pick up the pace, slow it down, a little bit more power, something, whatever it
Yeah.
is that you feel like they need.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know, ideas. I don't know if we should have shared that. No, it's not like, we're not even that good.
Yeah. Anyways, let us know your guys' thoughts on coaching for patterns. What do you guys look for?
Yeah, what are you
Right.
looking for?
Well,
So that
maybe
we
it's
can get
different.
better.
Yeah, there you go. And as always, don't forget to be safe.
Keep training.
We'll see you guys next time.
Take one.